Joining me now is General Keith Kellogg. He's got quite a resume, as you can imagine. Former National Security Advisor to Vice President Pence, former Executive Secretary and Chief of Staff to the United States National Security Council under Trump. General, first and foremost, who screwed this whole thing up? I mean, honestly, it's easy to point to Joe Biden because Joe Biden is Joe Biden, and I realize he bears a lot of the responsibility. He's the commander-in-chief. Surely there's got to be some blame to go around for such an international embarrassment.
Yeah, first of all, Jesse, thanks for having me. I do appreciate it. Now, look, you're asking who screwed this up. Well, the commander-in-chief, Joe Biden, screwed this up, and his national security team screwed this up. And that's the reason I've been very harsh on not only the commander-in-chief, but the national security team when Tony Blinken as the Secretary of State, you had Jake Sullivan as the National Security Advisor, you had Mark Milley, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and Lloyd Austin as Sec Def. All of them should go because they have made this an absolute embarrassment to the United States of America. I mean, calling it a debacle is actually being too nice, and it really is, and it impacts our credibility throughout the world on our reliability. Do we really mean it when we say what we're going to do? And we've let the Taliban dictate the terms. I will tell you, Jesse, that if you tried to do that with President Trump, one, his reaction would be unprintable, and his reaction militarily would be unforgettable. This would not have happened. So you're asking, a pretty good question, and that needs to be answered. And somebody needs to step back and kind of look at it and say, okay, how did we get here? And I can tell you, I know how we got there because I was part of it.
This is the Pentagon spokesman, John Kirby, about the Americans we still have there.
Is there an updated number, and do you have the sort of base number, how many have to be evacuated now?
It's right now today north of 4,400, and I don't have a specific number of total Americans that are still in need of leaving. I don't have that.
Okay, General, the civilians, I'll be honest, that's my first priority. That's the first thing I care about right now. We have lots of them. It doesn't seem like there's a plan to get them out. Did Trump have a plan to get them out first before we walked away?
No, the answer, and I'll make it pretty simple. No, because we weren't going to be in this condition. We weren't going to be where they're at right now because our plan was to maintain a military force until we had a new government in place, a government that was a combination of the Taliban and the current government sitting side by side. And this was not going to happen because we were going to back that up with military strength. And until that last gate was met, then that wouldn't happen. Look, what they're saying right now is incredible to me. I mean, you have to fast forward to where we're at right now from where we talked about it with the Trump administration. But I'll make it really simple. This is where you pick up the phone and you call the Taliban, you call the leader, Barada. We have his phone number. We know he met with the CIA director just, 2 days ago. And you tell him, we're going to leave when we're ready to leave. And we're not going to leave when you want us to leave. We're going to make sure we've got all the Americans accounted for that want to get out. We're going to make sure we've got our interpreters through the SIV program out. And anybody who's associated with the United States that wants to get out of there, out as well. We're not going to leave them to the wherewithal of the Taliban. I've seen this happen before. Back in the Vietnam days, remember, we left a group of people who fought with us, the Mountain Yards, in place. We never helped them leave Vietnam when we had the chance. So I've kind of seen this, up close and personal years ago. But again, let me just close that circle, Jesse. The fact is, no, we didn't plan on it being this way. We would not have allowed it to get to the condition we're at right now.
This all looks so amateurish. And whatever you can say about Joe Biden, he's not an amateur when it comes to politics. The guy's been in Washington, D.C. since George Washington was in D.C. Why does this all look so amateurish to us?
Well, one, it doesn't look amateurish. It is amateurish. I mean, there's no optics there. Is really what happened. And I think this is a real failure of his national security team. That's the reason I made that comment a minute ago, Jesse, that they all need to go. His team didn't put this thing together. And I'm sure he was very clear on what he wanted to have done, and it wasn't done. So when they talk about professionalism, you didn't see it. Now, you go back. This is the same team that was the Obama team when you look at national security team. The same people. Jake Sullivan was there as his national security advisor when he was the vice president. Blinken was there as well. He was the deputy national security advisor under Susan Rice. This is the same team that brought you things like Benghazi years ago. So I don't have a lot of confidence in the professionalism or the wherewithal of that whole team out there, and they should all go. And maybe that's what needs to be done. It won't happen, by the way, Jesse, because he won't do it. He won't pull the trigger on him. But
No.
this is a clear lack of a clear failure of his entire national security team.
Hey, thanks so much for watching the first on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.